And now, Suspense. Your host tonight on the Autolite Theater is the maker of the famous wide-gap Autolite resistor spark plug. Ignition engineered by Autolite, makers of complete ignition systems for many of America's finest cars. From bumper to tail light, Autolite makes over 400 products for cars and trucks. Spark plugs, bumpers, hubcaps, bullseye seal beam units, radiator grills, batteries, wire and cable, ignition systems, speedometers, instruments, tail lights, and many more. So remember, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite. And now, Autolite and its 60,000 dealers and service stations everywhere present Suspense.
Yes, come in.
Oh, good morning.
Oh, Mrs. Griffin. Has the mail come?
There was nothing for you, Mr. Crabtree.
Oh, well, I suppose the rest of these applications will be just so much chaff in the wind, too.
Well, that's what I came in about. I was wondering if we could have a little talk.
Yes, I know. The rent, eh?
More serious than that.
Eh?
I've decided I need the apartment, Mr. Crabtree, so please take this as 2 weeks' notice.
Mrs. Griffin, this is my home. I've lived here for 15 years.
Your last year and a half practically rent-free.
Yes, but you understand that you'll get it all eventually as soon as I get a job.
You've been promising that for months. I can't gamble on it any longer.
Yes, well, I don't know what further to suggest. You know that I have to meet my daughter's sanitarium expenses every month. They've got to be paid. My bank account is zero. I've borrowed to the limit on my insurance. And I've lost everything. I've nothing more to pawn.
Well, then it's high time you cut your coat according to your cloth.
I do. I deny myself everything. I walk everywhere. I don't even smoke anymore.
Oh, trivial expenses, Mr. Crabtree. There's one major item you could cut down on. You could bring your daughter Anne home from that expensive sanitarium. There are state institutions that take care of mental cases for nothing.
Never. I'll never send her to one of those places. Yet she would die. I know she would. The doctor told me that only expert care and understanding treatment would pull her through.
Well, you can't pay for those things any longer with your rent money. I don't want to behave like a dragon. We'll make it 4 weeks' notice if that will help any. But in 2 weeks I shall have to show the apartment to prospective tenants.
Tell me what to do, Anne, darling. I'm at my wit's end. I'd willingly kill myself, but what good would that do now? No more insurance. What would become of you?
Mr. Crabtree, this young lady's come to see you about an advertisement you answered.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, come in, Miss...
My name is unimportant.
Oh.
I'm merely a spokesman in this matter. And it's highly confidential.
Oh, would you mind...
Oh, well, I was just going.
Yes, come in.
Now, Mr. Crabtree, about your application.
Oh, which one? You see, I've answered so many.
This.
Oh? Man wanted for hard work at moderate pay. Sober, honest, industrious. Former accountant, aged 55 to 60. Right details, send references, box 111, general delivery, New York. Yes. I answered this a month ago. I'd given up hope of hearing.
It took a month to investigate you.
Well, you must be thorough.
My employer leaves nothing to chance.
Oh.
Tell me, Mr. Crabtree, do you feel qualified to operate your own establishment?
My own establishment? Well, I don't want to misrepresent my previous experience. You see, I've always been in a position of employee. For the last 20 years, I've been in most...
Yes. We know the biographical details.
Oh.
Well, this particular job is a simple matter of regular confidential reports to be sent through the mail. You would have your own office and no supervision.
What kind of confidential reports?
On various important corporations. It would be a matter of covering references to them in the financial journals.
Well, to what address do I mail these?
Well, the box number you already have, of course.
Yes, of course.
Your hours would be 9 to 5, 6 days a week, with an hour off for lunch.
Oh, might I ask about my salary?
I'm empowered to offer you $100 a week.
Oh. Do you mind if I sit down?
No. This is the address of the office.
Eh?
Room 1202, 581, East 42nd Street. One of these keys is for the door, one for the desk, and the other for a filing cabinet. You will report tomorrow at 9 a.m. sharp. Mr. Crabtree, am I to gather from your attitude that you're dissatisfied with this offer?
Oh, no. No, I accept with profound gratitude.
We thought you would. Any questions?
Well, yes. Who is my employer?
It's necessary for him to remain anonymous, even to you. Moreover, the nature of your work is not to be discussed with anyone whatsoever.
Oh, well, I understand. I mean, you may tell him, please, that I'll follow his instructions to the letter.
Good.
Yes.
Now, as to your salary, it will reach you the end of every week through the mail, in cash.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Bye.
And good luck, Mr. Crabtree.
I can't believe it. It's going to be all right, and now you will get well.
Hello, darling. Is it all right for me to talk? Good. I just couldn't wait to tell you. It went off perfectly. My dear, he's ideal, just exactly what we've been looking for. I put on such a marvelous performance, he hasn't any idea it isn't a bona fide job. Yes, I'll phone the building right away and tell them to put his name on the office door.
Well, managing director. I never thought I'd live to see that. Oh, my. Not exactly palatial. However, as Shakespeare said, a poor thing, but mine own. Bird's eye view of termites scurrying to work. Yeah, this makes me dizzy. Besides, it's very cold.
Please?
Please feed me. My function is to keep you company so that you will not be tempted to chatter to friends on the telephone. My name is Discretion.
Well, Discretion, it's lucky for you that I'm partial to cats, that I'm not one of those silly people who are terrified of them. We'll be great companions. Nailed to the floor. That's odd. Here. Hello.
Mr. Crabtree, your employer's secretary speaking.
Oh, yes.
We wanted to check on your arrival. Is everything clear as to your duties?
Oh, yes, perfectly. I'm very comfortable. Oh, but would you mind telling me why my furniture is nailed to the floor?
No, Mr. Crabtree. That is one thing I cannot tell you.
Oh, well, we put our foot into it that time, Kitty. Well, discretion, I suppose you don't realize that this is a red-letter day in history. January the 10th, Chester Crabtree, accountant. He opens his own office for a very mysterious Mr. X. Well, listen to this, Pussy. Some optimistic person wants me to contribute to a fund for the revival of the 18th Amendment. Yes, come in.
Mr. Crabtree, I give you one guess as to who I am.
Oh, could you be my employer, sir? I always think of you as Mr. X.
You may continue to call me that.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm very proud to make your acquaintance, sir, at long last. Won't you take my chair, sir? I'm afraid it's the only one.
And it's not through an oversight, Mr. Crabtree, that it is the only one.
Oh.
It's malice aforethought, a small detail in an elaborate plan, but I'll explain all that in its turn.
Yes.
I find it very stuffy in here.
Oh.
Open the window, will you?
Yes, sir.
From the bottom. And wide. That's better. I think we should always fill our lungs with fresh air when we can, Mr. Crabtree. They can so easily cease to function.
Yes, sir.
Well, Mr. Crabtree, I believe in coming to the point without preamble. You are content with your job and your salary?
Oh, yes, sir. I've never been so happy, sir, and I hope that my reports have met with your satisfaction.
I haven't read them. I burned them on arrival, unopened.
You what? You burned them?
It comes as a shock to you to discover that their real function is to lull you into a state of security. False security.
Well, sir, I must say I don't follow you, sir.
Well, you have actually been employed by me for work of a very different nature.
What sort of work, sir?
I want you to help me to dispose of a personal problem.
Oh, well, naturally, I'd do anything to be of help.
Anything? Then tell me, Mr. Crabtree, how would you go about killing a man?
I, sir?
Yes, that's why I've hired you. To carry out a very ingenious murder.
In just a moment, we'll see Act Two of Help Wanted, starring Otto Kruger. Friends, today I was thinking about all the summer driving that you're going to be doing very soon, and I thought, well, you don't want to have a lot of trouble with your cars, so by way of a bit of advice, I thought I'd tell you a little story about a man I know named Merlin the Marvelous. Merlin the Marvelous Magician. And he really is a very marvelous guy. Very smart. He can tell you the card you're thinking of, or he can make things disappear right in front of your eyes. So, when Merlin's car gets to jumping and jolting around, you'd think he'd give it the old abracadabra, or at least try and make with the double whammy to get rid of whatever the trouble is. But now, as I told you, Merlin is a very smart fella, and he knows that the thing to do is take his car to an expert, which is just what he did. And we found out what the trouble was right away. In his car, Merlin had a set of old, tired, worn-out spark plugs. So what we did was supply him with a little of the magic right in this box, a set of the new revolutionary Autolite resistor spark plug. Now, here's why I want to tell you about the Autolite resistor spark plug. Inside, yes, built right in, mind you, is a newly developed 10,000-ohm exclusive Autolite resistor that's found in no other automotive-type spark plug. And it's very important to you for 4 big reasons. And here they are. Number 1, you get smoother idling. Yes, there's less chance of misfiring at idle or at low throttle settings. That's number 1. Reason number 2, actual gas savings. You see, with the Autolite resistor, you have better performance with leaner gas mixtures, so you actually save gas. And here's reason number 3, longer life. You see, that resistor means that the electrode, that's the firing tip that brings the spark into your engine, will last 200% longer and more. Reason number 3, longer life. And now here is reason number 4 of great interest to you television fans. With the Autolite resistor spark plug, you'll find that you get less television interference. So there, friends, you have 4 good reasons for remembering the name Autolite resistor spark plugs. Well, our friend Merlin, the marvelous magician, had very good reasons to remember the name Autolite resistor spark plug, because we went ahead and put a set in his car, and he was all fixed up, ready to go off to the magician's convention with a hat full of slick new tricks. And in addition to that, he has some really very good advice for you, and that is, you're always right with Autolite. Now, here is Act 2 of our suspense story, Help Wanted.
I gather from your stony silence, Mr. Crabtree, that the idea of taking life is repugnant to you.
Well, sir, I am an accountant, not an assassin. I've never even dimly contemplated such an action.
I envy you the serenity of your existence. Unfortunately, I have never contemplated anything else for 5 unhappy years.
Well, who is this man that you want eliminated?
A common blackmailer who's setting too high a value upon his silence for the moment. He is my wife's first husband. When we married, she thought him dead. We have 2 children who will become illegitimate if he prosecutes for bigamy as he threatens. I occupy a public position of great trust. Such a scandal would ruin us. It must not be allowed to happen.
But, if you have decided to destroy this man, why do you insist try to get me to do it? Why don't you do it yourself?
I am totally incapable of committing any act of violence. Why, if a fly should land in the palm of that hand, I lack the force to crush the life out of it.
Yes, but why not hire someone outside the social boundaries, someone who would do anything for money, a gangster?
And exchange one blackmailer for another? No, Mr. Crabtree, I have decided it has to be you.
Me? But I never.
Calmly, my dear fellow. And before you make a hasty decision, consider the consequences of a refusal to you. When you leave this office this evening, you would leave it permanently.
But with a secret, Mr. X. A secret that might be of interest to the police.
Oh, forgive me, my dear fellow. Forgive me, but I was visualizing the scene when you go to the authorities with this story of the fantastic demands made upon you by an employer who does not exist.
Yes, sir, but this office, all the subscriptions to the magazines, you paid for everything.
Through the mail, by cash, in your name.
But then you inserted the advertisement in the newspaper.
Anonymously. Of course, it would not be impossible for you to discover my real identity, but it would only lead you to an institution for the mentally deranged. Hallucinations, my dear fellow.
But the lady who engaged me in your behalf was no hallucination.
Quite correct, Mr. Crabtree. She was not. That was my wife. Disguised, of course. And I do not think even your landlady would recognize her again.
Well, I still don't understand.
Oh.
Why you want to pick on me?
Then I will explain. My advertisement was intended to attract the man to whom a steady salary might mean a matter of life and death. I examined numerous replies. You seem to me to be the ideal candidate, for to you, a steady salary is a matter of life and death. Well, if not to you, at least to your daughter.
What good would I be to my daughter if I went to the chair for murder?
You underestimate my ingenuity. My plan is foolproof. For example, this cramped office was found after a weary search as perfect for our purpose. The exact spot in which this desk is placed was carefully selected. It has even been nailed to the floor to make it impossible to move it. Now observe. When you are seated at this desk, a visitor is confined to the space you occupy now at that window. Within the hour, the man we have been discussing will come through that door. He will stand there, with his back to the open window. And now, he will ask you for an envelope containing a contribution. You will hand him that. Being a methodical man, he will place it in the inner pocket of his jacket. Every time I've paid him for the last 5 years, he has never failed to do exactly that. At a psychological moment, when his hand is in his pocket, you will rise swiftly. One good thrust and he'll be through that window to his death.
No! No!
A second or two later, you will close the window and quietly resume your work.
Yes, but someone will find him.
Yes.
The police.
Yes, they will find an unfortunate individual who has jumped from the roof above you. They will know it's not a suicide because the envelope you gave him will contain a note, not the money he anticipated. The note will explain the reasons for his sad demise and offer a pathetic apology for the inconvenience he has caused. Now, Mr. Crabtree, if I am never blackmailed again, I shall know that you have carried out your function as my employee. You will become one of my confidential supporters, and you will retire at the age of 65 with a generous pension for life.
Police department.
Why don't you bring your daughter Anne home from that expensive sanitarium? They're a state institution that takes care of mental cases for nothing. In 2 weeks, I shall have to show the apartment to prospective tenants.
Crabtree, I'm empowered to offer you $100. $100.
Before making a hasty decision, consider the consequences of a refusal to you. When you leave this office this evening, you will leave it permanently. But you could become one of my confidential supporters and retire at the age of 65 with a generous pension for life. For life. For life.
Come in.
Mr. Crabtree,
Yes.
I am hoping, sir, to obtain a contribution from you. Sir, it is my...
I know. I have it here.
Thank you. That's most satisfactory. Do you mind if I open it?
Oh, no, you're not.
Cat.
You're...
Keep him away from me. Cats terrify me. Please don't let him come near me. Please keep him away from me.
I never touched him. I didn't have to do it after all. You saved me. I've got to get out of here. Hello? Yes, this is Crabtree.
I was standing at the opposite corner at the end of the block. I saw a man fall from the 12th floor. Congratulations, my dear fellow.
Yes, but I didn't do it. It was an accident. He fell by accident.
You did give him that letter.
Yes, I did. But I didn't touch him. He saw my cat and he became terrified and he backed up and he fell down.
But, my dear Crabtree, I hope you are not going to spoil everything when it is all going so splendidly by losing your head. It would be most unwise to tell that, shall we say, cat and bull story to the police. Now, you heard nothing. You saw nothing. Go on quietly working at your reports.
Yes, sir. Sir, but sir!
Well, this is the last one. Chester Crabtree. Maybe he can tell us something.
Come in.
Hope we're not interrupting, sir, but there's been an accident.
Oh?
About an hour ago, a man fell from this building and was killed. We want to ask you a few questions.
By all means, do.
This your office?
Yes?
Been in it all morning?
Yes?
That door open any time?
No, I always have the door closed when I work.
Then you wouldn't be in a position to see anyone going up the stairs across the hall.
No, I wouldn't.
You say you've been sitting at that desk all morning, huh?
Yes. Yes, I don't believe I've left the chair.
Then you wouldn't be in a position to see anything happening outside the window.
No, indeed.
You hear anything? Anything out of the ordinary?
Out of the ordinary?
Yeah, someone yelling. Anything like that.
Oh, yes, now that you mention it, I believe I did hear someone scream, though they were startled.
Let's see. Well, that ties it up. The guy jumped from the roof, all right. Second he did it, he changed his mind. Clear case of suicide, note and everything. Sorry to trouble you, Mr. Crabtree, but we have to get all the facts we can.
Yes, but just one moment. Oh, one thing. Who was this person?
Oh, some reformer. He'd been going through the building trying to solicit contributions to revive the 18th Amendment.
Oh.
Well, it takes all kinds to make a world. Goodbye, Mr. Crabtree.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Mr. Crabtree,
Yes?
I've been informed by a certain party that you have a contribution for me.
Oh. No. No, I gave it to the... No, sir. I have nothing for you. And I suggest that you go to the man you are now blackmailing and tell him that his perfect plan for murdering you has gone astray, sir.
Thank you, Otto Kruger, for a wonderful performance in Help Wanted. This is Rex Marshall speaking for Autolite, and in just a moment I'll tell you about next week's Suspense presentation. But right now, here's a parade of some of the more than 400 Autolite products which are made in their plants from coast to coast. Here come the horns, the windshield wipers, the relays, the ignition coils, and, of course, the batteries. Autolite Stay Full batteries. The batteries that need water only 3 times a year in normal car use. There's spark plug wire, battery cables. And there come the Autolite starting motors, followed by the distributors and the generators. And there are the gas gauges. Here come the spark plugs, ignition-engineered resistor spark plugs. Look at that precision, typical of Autolite, for Autolite means precision engineering. So insist on Autolite original factory parts at your neighborhood service station, car dealer, or repair shop. It's a good thing to remember, friends, that from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite. And say, have you sent for your Autolite key light? It's a pocket-sized keychain and flashlight that you can get for only 25 cents if you send the name and address of the place that services your car to Autolite, Toledo 1, Ohio. Your name and address and 25 cents in coin to Autolite, Toledo 1, Ohio. Next week, we'll bring you another gripping story of suspense entitled Stolen Empire. Also, be sure to listen to Suspense each Thursday night on the radio. And now, good night from Autolite.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.